Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. Today, we are joined by Chad and Jelana, along with their daughter, Mia. They're going to share a little bit about their adoption journey. So let's start with Chad and Jelana. Can you guys share what were your expectations coming into Adoptions from the Heart? Just generally speaking about what this process would look like. What were your hopes? A little bit about open adoption. Talk to us about back then when you were adoption planning.
I don't know if we really had any expectations. We kind of were just looking into adoption and went to like an informational meeting at Adoptions from the Heart in Greensburg and just really felt like at ease with the agency and like had a lot of questions answered and just kind of felt like this warmth about it. When we like got through looking through the paperwork and whatever, we maybe looked at maybe a couple other agencies, but we just felt like this pull towards it. We just kind of felt like it was the place for us. So it was kind of a good fit, I think, from the beginning.
Had you guys discussed all of your options? Being you're in the state of Pennsylvania, obviously private adoption is an option for you. I'm curious, why did you choose the agency route and what has the agency done for you over the years?
I wanted an open adoption for my child. I just felt like that was what was going to make him or her the most secure in growing up. And I didn't want this child to ever have to question where they came from. I mean, our hopes were always that it could be as open as the other, the birth parent would allow. So I really wasn't even interested in private adoption. I felt like in my mind, it was kind of a thing of the past. And I just did not ever want the burden of the wonderment to be on the child. I wanted him or her to know where they came from.
Well said. For you, Chad, what was it like when you got that call, when you heard from the agency that you were matched for a placement situation? Talk to us about, what you were thinking in that moment right before you were placed with Mia.
Well, actually, I was on my way to get lunch and I picked lunch up. I was in the vehicle. My cell phone had rang. What was interesting enough, Jelana had just started a new job and that was her first day at work. And the social worker, Joan, had called to say, hey, you guys are going to be parents. So at that point, I called Jelana and the rest is kind of history here with Mia here beside us.
Joan had called him because she thought that he would be the most calm about it, which she was right. But it was funny. I mean, I literally had just started a new job and we were at a crossroads. So I was kind of like, I had prayed for this child for so long. What do I want to do? And I went in that minute and I was sitting in orientation when he called me. I went into the office and said, something just came into my life and I'm going to have to resign, even though I never even got started. And so I quit because I just wanted to be available to her because we knew at the time it was going to be a girl. They told us it was going to be a girl. So I never even made it through that job, but that's totally fine because the excitement, when you get that call, the excitement is just unbelievable.
Share with us about your hospital experience. I hear that you guys were there, you were present, you were able to be a part of Mia coming into the world.
Oh, we have been so blessed with this whole experience with Nicole and Brian. I mean, truly, they invited us. As soon as we met them, we all felt a very instantaneous connection, but they invited us to be in the delivery room, which was absolutely incredible. Chad and I, and then Nicole's mom and her sister, and of course, Brian and Nicole were in the room. So we sat there waiting all night, so excited. And then when she finally came and when we were in the room there for the whole experience, it was truly one of the most amazing things for us to get to be there. I mean, we truly feel like we've been there every single minute of her life. And Brian and Nicole were just so welcoming and good to us. It's a nerve-wracking. I mean, it truly is for everybody involved, but you just don't know how it's going to go. And she was really kind and really made us feel like we were wanted and that this was truly our child.
Well, and sometimes it can be hard to predict what that's going to look like, right? It just kind of takes everybody letting down their nerves and really opening up, being vulnerable. And it sounds like you guys got along really well. They were welcoming, as you described. I think they would say the same thing about you guys, that you were just very receptive and willing to participate, and you understood their side of things too, which ultimately helps build relationships, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it is so important that you see things from every perspective, from their perspective, ours, and from hers. And that's what I've tried to do in this whole process is I want to make it the best for everybody, because the most important thing has always and will always be Mia and her comfort with the situation. I want her to always be comfortable and happy. And I know if she did not know them, I do not think that she would be the same person that she is today. Truly. She's so comfortable with the whole adoption thing. And it's because she knows every detail of anything she wants to know. They have provided answers for her. I mean, when we first kind of told her who they were, when she was old enough to comprehend it, she got a little journal and wrote out all these questions for them. And they allowed her to sit there like a panel and ask all these questions, like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite holiday? All this stuff. And she's kept that. I mean, she still has it, just so she could, get to know them more. Cause it's such an awesome gift for a child that's adopted to get to know their birth parents. So we feel so, so lucky.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this is all about, right? We're all here for the best interests of the adoptee, of the child, so that he or she can know their story. Mia, for you, can you recall at what age you were able to kind of comprehend and understand who your birth parents are and what that meant for you to know that you knew who they are? Like, they had been visiting with you regularly. I know you guys have a great connection. What did that feel like for you?
I was probably 6.
Yeah, she was 6. It was her. It was kindergarten.
Yeah, I was going into kindergarten, and I feel like it was around like the time when we were either getting ready to visit them for the year or after we had already visited them. I can't really recall how I felt. I knew I was excited. I had already seen them every year. Now, finally, at that point, like, knew who they were in relation to me.
And it kind of all made sense. Everything.
Yeah, it did.
Well, now you're 15 years old, so obviously it's been some time. I'm curious from your perspective, because I still sometimes will hear this from folks. Isn't open adoption confusing? Isn't it hard on children to grow up having parents, but also knowing who their birth parents are? And I'm curious your response to that. I have my own response as a social worker, but for you, what would you say to somebody who thinks that it may be confusing for adoptees to know their birth parents?
I don't feel that it's all too confusing, because it's like you have your birth parents who birthed you, and then like you get to see where you come from and the similarities and like what specific traits you got from your birth father or your birth mother. But then you also like gain bits and pieces of like your adoptive parents. They're like also the ones who care for you at home, but you still have like the bond with your birth parents. So,
I like to look at it sometimes like a tree. So a tree has roots that grow in the ground, and that kind of represents your birth family, right? We all have our roots, we know where we come from. But then the tree and the flowers and what comes out is kind of representative of the adoptive family, who are able to embrace and love and be the family and the everyday presence that a child will grow up around. So I feel like exactly what you just described is what this is all about. It's okay to have both.
yes.
Well, and I think it's important that folks hear that from you, Mia, because you live it every day, right? And it almost sounds to me like your parents did such a great job talking to you about adoption. This was a part of your life. You visited with your birth parents regularly. They really incorporated that into your family life. So this became an easy transition when you were able to comprehend who are your birth parents.
It was very easy when I was able to comprehend like who they were, and it was just like something really cool that I learned about myself.
That's great. Chad, how about for you in terms of like your everyday life? What do you think things would be like for you if you didn't have a relationship with me as birth parents?
Oh, I think it would be very empty. We look forward to the time each year around the October time frame where we meet and get together, and it's actually pretty neat to see how much they've grown as individuals. Just the relationship just continues to grow each year, and it's just, you're truly interested in how they're doing, how they're getting along. and where they are in their lives, and the feelings is just very mutual.
Oh yeah.
And just really just to appreciate that. And it's just, there are things that we're similar in, and just a neat bond.
We love them. We truly do. We love them. So we would be upset if we didn't get to see them anymore. And I mean, we all think about them every single day and talk about them every single day. We are just very happy that we get to have them in our lives. And I mean, there is so much of her that is them. And it's a gift for us to get to see it. There are times, and I've told Nicole this, that she speaks and just says some wacky phrase, and I will stop in my tracks and be like, oh my goodness, she sounds exactly like Nicole, like exactly like her. And she's not even ever heard her say that or whatever, but it's just really, really cool that we get to know all this stuff. Like we're just thrilled about it, truly.
Well, in our agency, we recently interviewed Mia's birth mom, and she had just wonderful things to say about you guys and your ability to create a space for her and birth father to be in. Being able to see Mia grow up, being a part of your family, that has been something really important to her. And I think it shows your ability to have a heart and open up and be confident in being a parent, that you can allow others to also love your child without any questions asked.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that is the key, like really to be confident in your relationship with your child and parenting. And a lot for us too is about gratitude. We have so much gratitude. You have to think about the birth parent and what they went through when they're, in that hospital. We have met them, but they just handed us this child, like so selflessly. They loved her so much. They just handed her to us. Like, we have so much gratitude for them, and the fact that they've kept in touch with us. Like, they have so totally kept up their end of the bargain, which is, we love her more than anything in this world. So for us to know that they love her that much too, and that they've thought about her well-being for all these years, we are blessed beyond measure, truly. We are just so happy that this has all worked out. Like, yeah, we're emotional wrecks about adoption. We have been since the minute she came into our lives. Like, we are just, we're thrilled that this all has worked out the way it has. And we're so grateful to Adoptions from the Heart too, honestly, because you put us all together. It was just like the most perfect fit. It has been like a fairy tale adoption story to us. We're just so like happy and blessed, truly.
Yeah. Mia, is there anything that you want folks to know, anything you would like to get off your chest, just being an adoptee, having a great relationship with your birth parents? Is there something you would love to share with our community?
I think it's important to have like the relationship between like a child and their birth parents. I wouldn't want to have to wonder about where I came from, but it's like, it's nice to get to see them every year. And I can't remember where I was going.
One thing I know that I'll help you and lead you. She also loves the fact that when they come to meet with us, they bring like Brian and his wife and their kids. So she gets to see her half siblings. Then Nicole brings her significant other and her significant other's child. Like, these people, we love them all so much. And she feels so lucky that she gets to be with them and to experience like a relationship with them. It truly means the world to her.
And guys, we do recognize that not all adoption triads are, a smooth process or sunshine and rainbows. And there may be some bumps in the road to get to the place that you guys are at today. But it's nice for folks to hear from people 15 years later that are able to maintain such a great triad. And it sounds like you all are very open, honest, really care about one another, like truly care about each other. The same thing came from birth mom. She really cares about all three of you. And I think she's so appreciative that you all are in cahoots in the same place of visiting and knowing one another. So thank you for sharing your story. I know that this will help other families out there that are trying to envision, what will my triad look like one day? Right? Maybe I just placed my child for adoption, or I'm a prospective adoptive parent waiting to be placed with a child. what will life look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So thank you for sharing your story and giving us the perspective of what reality looks like in adoption.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Please continue to tune in to future episodes, and thanks again to this wonderful family for sharing their story.